Hello everyone, my name is Danilo Elesterio Jr. and I am here to discuss about the human population and urbanization with the subtopics of age structure of population, second, slowing population growth, and the third one is urban resources and environmental problems. So, let us first discuss the age structure of population. So first, let us discuss what is really an age structure of a population. So according to Ashley Crossman, the age structure of a population is the distribution of people of various ages. So it basically illustrates population based on age. So it is also a useful tool for social scientists, healthcare experts, policy analysts, and policymakers for a reason that it illustrates population trends such as rates of birth and rates of deaths on a certain locality based on age. It is also an essential component in the prediction of population changes and population planning. According to Lanlan Wang, an age structure of a population is the age refers to the proportionate numbers of people in different age categories in a given population for a defined time. So the age structure is closely related to birth rate, death rate, and migration of a population. In the region with high birth rate, the proportion of children tends to be higher, whereas in the region with low birth rate and death rate, the percentage of elderly population tends to be higher. The graph you've seen on the slide is a sample illustration for age structure of a population. It is a population by age data interpretation in the Philippines on the year 2020. As what the data have shown, below, higher percentage of population were recorded from ages 0 to 29, garnering of at least 40 to 60% of population in the Philippines. On the other hand, a lower percentage of population were recorded from ages 60 to 40 years old, as what have shown in the illustration, garnering of at least 5 to 18% of the 2020 Philippine population. Let's go now to the next slide, the constructing and interpreting of an age structure diagram. So, with age and sex distribution data from a certain population, it is easy to construct an age structure diagram. Once the diagram is constructed, one can clearly see if the population will grow, decline, or experience no noticeable change in its population number. For example, if the diagram shows a generally straight up and down shape except for the older age groups, a stable growth of population will become evident. If the diagram shows a top-heavy shape, then a decline is forecast for that population, or in short, population decline will occur. And speaking of population growth and population decline, this too is something that can't be displaced nor removed in the structure of age population, as this too will help to easily interpret and observe the constant changes of population in the age structure of population, or also known as the population pyramid. Age structure of population can affect both the population growth and decline. In terms of population growth, age structure influences the population growth rate and population decline by describing and interpreting on how the members are distributed in each age categories of a population. In such case, determining the current birth rate and death rate, migration, and fertility of a certain locality or a country will be more easier. Through population age structure, we can easily determine the current growth rate of a locality being covered. Let's go on now to the next slide, and it is all about the population pyramid, or also known as age structure graph. So it is a simple graph that conveys a complex social narrative of a population through its shapes. So demographers use the simple graphs to evaluate the extent of development for a given population, usually an individual nation, to make predictions about the type of services that population will need. So, population pyramid shows the distribution of age across a population divided down the center between male and female members of a population. And there are specifically three types of population pyramid, namely, first, the expansive population pyramid, the second is constrictive population pyramid, and lastly is the stationary population pyramid. Let's first discuss the first type of pyramid, the expansive population pyramid. So, it is used to describe populations that are young and growing and are often characterized by their typical pyramid shape, which has a broadened base and a narrow top. Expansive population pyramid shows a larger percentage of the population in the younger age cohorts, usually with each age cohort smaller in size than the one below it. This type of population data interpretation are typically represents the data of a developing country whose population often have high fertility rates and lower than average life expectancies. Let's go on now to the next slide, the constrictive population pyramid, or used to describe populations that are elderly and shrinking. These pyramids can often look like beehives and typically have an inverted shape with a graph tapering in at the bottom. These pyramids have a smaller percentage of people in the younger age cohorts. These are the typical characteristic of countries with high level of social and economic development where access to quality education and healthcare is available to a large portion of the population. Let's go on now to the next slide, the third and last type of population pyramid, the stationary population pyramid. It is also called the near stationary population pyramids. These are used to describe populations that are not growing and are characterized by the rectangular shape. So this pyramid is displaying somewhat unequal percentage across age cohorts that taper off towards the top. These pyramids can often represent developing nations wherein birth rates are low and overall quality of life is high. Let's go on now to the next slide, the next topic, the slowing population growth. So, slowing population growth is one of the most efficient and aspired solution on an overpopulated nations. Due to the problems of overpopulation, governments and health centers is trying to do their best to at least lessen this problem. Although slower population is still evident for some countries, we can't really deny the fact that there were plenty of overpopulated nations also. There have been also a disadvantage to it. But however, we will not focus on the overpopulation, but instead we will focus on the slow population growth. We will discuss what causes it as well as what are its advantages and disadvantages. Before that, let me show to you an sample illustration of a slowing population growth or population decline. So it is a projected population decrease in selected countries in the year 2020 to 2050. So as what you have seen on the figures in the slide, there is a possibility that Ukraine will have the most highest decrease of population, while on the other hand, Finland will have the lowest decrease of population in the between 2020 to 2050. So next slide. So what really causes lower population growth and population decline? So I have put some possible causes of population growth or population decline. So first is fewer children are born. So through family planning, birth rate will surely decrease, and at some point it can somehow contribute a positive impact to our population, especially for those countries who are suffering from overpopulation. The second one is death toll increases annually. So that rate can also cause slower population growth in a sense that population will decrease when death rates rises. And then the next one is family planning and birth control. Same explanation as the first one, the fewer children are born. And then the last cause is emigration. So, due to the number of Filipino emigrating from other countries, the possible decrease of population will happen. In the next slide, we will discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of population growth. We will enumerate them one by one. So let's first discuss the advantages of slow population growth. So the first one is it increases economic opportunity, especially for women and other minority group. Less population provides a more job opportunities for people. Also, second is it increases upward pressure of wages, so especially for those unskilled labor. The third one is it raises our salary. The fourth one is it mitigates the problem on overpopulation. So, population growth, as what I have said a while ago, it can ease the problem on our population. So, that's so let's go on now to the one possible disadvantages of slow population growth, and that is less population among younger generations. So due to birth control and family planning, low birth rate will surely occur, which leads to a lesser population for younger individuals. Let's go on now to the next slide, the next topic, and that is urban resources and environmental problem. Urban resources such as buildings and infrastructures, high invented technologies, transportations, and advancement of machineries had contributed a positive impact on our daily lives. It be, our life became more comfortable because of high invented technologies. As easier communication had emerged due to the advanced technologies such as gadgets and daily works of factory workers become more easier, productive and faster due to the help of advanced machineries. It had become more easier for us to travel as well to other countries faster because of the advanced means of transportation. However, despite this excellent progress, our mother nature had had suffered in return, and as well we had suffered from natural disasters and environmental problems, which is very life threatening at some point. So in this part, we will discuss more about urban resources and environmental problems, its disadvantages and advantages. So let's go. So next slide. So in relation to urban resources, let's first define what is urbanization. So urbanization is the population shift from rural to urban areas, I mean. So it is also the process by which towns and cities are formed and become larger of as more people begin living and working in central areas. So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of urbanization? The first one is unemployment problem will be solved. So the excellent progress is very evident in urbanizations. Many job offers will surely emerge, which makes more chances of employment opportunities for all unemployed individuals. The second one is public transportation will evolve, I mean. A more modernized means of transportation will surely be invented, and it will surely make or become more efficient and helpful for all passengers. The third one is that more education and employment opportunities. So more advanced and good quality of education will emerge. And lastly, more modernized society. So some rural areas will soon evolve into a highly urbanized areas. However, despite these advantages mentioned, we can't just easily ignore the negative effects of urbanization, especially to our environment. So I will enumerate to you the its disadvantages. So one of its disadvantages is that it causes it can cause chances of higher level and worst case of pollution. So the chances of higher levels and worst case of pollution can is very evident in this present time. So many vehicles are releasing undesirable smokes, which is very dangerous not just on our health but also to our environment. The second one is higher level of stress. So higher level of stress will also occur due to the advancement of technologies, especially for today's generation, that social media had dominated the life of so many people. So the there is a possibility that the level of stress will emerge, especially because social media is one of the toxic platform in today's generation. And then the third one is less natural space. So due to the aim of the government to evolve rural to urban areas, many trees have been cut down and was turned into a commercial areas, leaving less traces of natural resources and areas. And then worse issues on traffic will emerge, which is very evident in our present time. And last but definitely not the least is environmental problem, which is very evident also in this present time. Let's go on to the next slide, and that is the environmental problems. So environmental problems are problems caused by changes in the environment resulting from every abusive human activities. So environmental problems is still one of the biggest global concerns. There were no exception from this problem. Not even a single country. All country all over the globe had experienced the misery brought by these environmental problems up until this present time. So in the next slide, I will enumerate to you the some examples of environmental problems that are very timely and evident in this present time. So the first one is pollution. The third one is global warming. The the second one I mean. The third one is overpopulation. The fourth one is improper waste disposal. The fifth one is ocean acidification. The the sixth one is loss of biodiversity. The seventh one is deforestation. Eight, ozone layer depletion. Nine, acid rain problems. And lastly is public health issues. So these are one of the most common environmental problems that are very evident all over the globe. Next slide. I think this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Once again, this is Danilo M. Elesterio Jr., a BA Communication student of Negros Oriental State University. Thank you and good day to all.